Well, how do you think that, because the only constant is change, right?
You have that right, Mike.
How do you preserve what Gardendale has that you think is so valuable and you're so passionate about? How do you preserve that?
It really boils down to the people. And when we talk about preserving, let's develop that for just a moment. There's an old joke that coming up on Thanksgiving, that there's this young lady that when she put the ham in the oven for Thanksgiving, she cut the little tip off of the ham before she put it in the oven. And her husband said, "Why are you cutting that off?" And she said, "Because my mother always did." And so it got her to thinking, and she asked her mother, said, "Well, Mom, why, John just asked me why I cut the tip off the ham, and I didn't know what to tell him. And I just told him because you always did it. So why do we do that, Mom?" And her mom said, "Because Grandma always did." So
Nobody knows where the ideas come from.
So they get on the phone with Grandma and say, "Grandma, we don't understand." Said, "We've always cut the tip off the end of the ham when we put it in the oven. What's up with that? Why did you do that? We just realized we've been blindly doing that for 40, 50 years. And she started laughing. She said, "Oh, honey, it's because my oven was so small, the ham wouldn't fit in there." Preserving tradition for the sake of preserving is no good for anyone. Here's what I feel like my challenge is. We want to foster Gardendale to be such a community. Look, the only thing that is truly constant is change. You just said it. There are great traditions, and like our Christmas parade and things like that. Those are traditions that I hope carry on for years. But if you'll look back, our Christmas parades have even changed through the years. There's one thing to hang on to a tradition, and then there's another thing to be said for, well, we've always done it that way.
Yeah.
I don't want to live in that kind of town that just does it because that's the way we've always done it. And that's why I say I know that my ideas, I may have some good ones, but not all of my ideas are good. We want the public input. I want to hear what our other counselors have to say. I want to hear what our chamber members have to say about their challenges in business. But we've always done it this way. That's not good enough. And in an age where information is so readily available, and when change is happening so expediently and so fast, you don't want to have change just for the sake of change. But at the same time, you also don't want to cling to something just because it's the way you've always done it.
Yeah.
I think our challenge is to foster the kind of community where people feel free to come here and be who they are, and to live, work, and worship and feel a freedom to do those things, but at the same time do it with a sense of community. And then we can pepper in the things like the Christmas parades, and I use that because that's coming up, of course, and the traditional things we've always done. Something that I've participated a lot in has been our Veterans Day, where we recognize our veterans up at our Veterans Park in North Gardendale. Those are the kind of things that, yes, I will cling to with every ounce of my being. But I want Gardendale to be a city where people feel welcome and people feel like they can come, raise a family, be a part of a community, and know that they're going to be around people that are glad they're here.
So you think that the way to preserve that feeling and that culture of Gardendale is to ensure that the community of Gardendale is kept intact, and that people are being neighborly.
That's exactly my point. And you said it so much better than I did. I got a little loquacious there for a minute, but if I never go over and say hi to my neighbor, my name is Bryan, there's a very good chance my neighbor will never know who I am. So that means if my neighbor doesn't come to me first, it is incumbent upon me to go be the neighbor. So here's my challenge. Go be the neighbor. Don't wait on them to come to you. You go to them. You may get a door slammed in your face, but you know what? I'm in sales. I've had a door slammed in my face before. So the act of being neighborly means you've got to be the neighbor.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good way to put it. You've got to be the neighbor. You can't wait on the neighbor to come to you.
Yeah, I think that's a great point.